Hello everybody, this is Thiago for the English Den and welcome to the first video of the Accent Reduction Workshop series. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am a Brazilian English teacher. I live here in Brazil and I teach English here in Brazil, and I've been a teacher for over 10 years now. The reason why I've created these pronunciation lessons is because I have noticed that many students still struggle a lot with pronunciation and their overall accent. So I've decided to create these videos in order to help as many Brazilians as possible to have a good English pronunciation. Okay? So the workshop is called Accent Reduction Workshop. Lose your Brazilian accent and speak English like a pro. Of course, this is a exaggerated statement. That's not the goal here, really. The goal here is not to make you lose your Brazilian accent altogether, but to lessen it, to reduce the influence that Portuguese has on your English when you speak it, okay? So that's pretty much the idea, all right? Let's get started here. This video, it's the first video of the series, and it's going to be an introduction to the workshop. I'm going to explain a little bit what the workshop is going to be about, okay? So who is this workshop for? First of all, this workshop is for intermediate and advanced students who wish to improve their pronunciation, accent, and overall speaking, okay? So if you have been studying English in Brazil for a while and you are already an intermediate or an advanced student, these videos are really going to help you with your accent, okay? Also, this workshop is recommended for English teachers who wish to refine their knowledge on English speaking, accent, and pronunciation. So if you are an English teacher in Brazil and you feel like you need a little bit more help with your pronunciation, you can also benefit from these videos, okay? And this workshop was designed specifically for Brazilian Portuguese speakers. Since I am Brazilian myself, that's why I decided to create these videos, because I created these videos thinking about my Brazilian students and speakers of the Portuguese language, specifically what their main difficulties are when it comes to pronouncing English in a more optimal way. Okay? So, what is the purpose of this workshop? The purpose of this workshop is to help you acquire a more neutral accent when speaking English, without major influences from your mother language. The main goal of this workshop is to decrease your Brazilian or foreigner accent as much as possible, so that your English sounds more smooth and clear. So again, the purpose here is not to make you lose your Portuguese Brazilian accent, but to decrease it so you have more of a neutral accent when you speak English, because a neutral accent is an intelligible accent, is an accent that everybody can understand, okay? Now, this workshop is divided into two parts. Part number one, we're going to be discussing some ways that we can use to speak English in a more connected way, in a more connected fashion, okay? And then part two, we're going to be discussing some of the main sounds of the English language, especially the sounds that cause problems for Portuguese speakers, okay? There is a little note here at the bottom saying that the lessons from this course are based on North American English. Yes, I created these lessons with the North American English in mind, but even if you study the British English and you prefer the British accent, you can still benefit from these videos, because many of these concepts also apply for the British English, okay? So, like I said, part one is about speaking in a more connected fashion. What does that mean? If you want to speak more smoothly and naturally, You need to learn how to speak your English sentences in a more connected way. By this, we mean picking a sentence and speaking it as if it had one sound only. Instead of speaking word by word, our goal here is to treat a short sentence as a single word, or a long sentence as 2 or 3 words only. So let's see a little bit more, what that means, okay? So if you have a short sentence, you should look at that sentence as having one sound only, okay? If you have a longer sentence, think of it as if it had 2 or 3 sounds. So let's see some examples here. Here you have some examples of short sentences. Repeat after me. I'm going to say the word, I'm going to say the sentence, speak the sentence, and then you repeat over there, okay? I'll be there. I'll be there. I don't know. I don't know. I've done that. I've done that. I'm all right. I'm all right. It's all good. It's all good. You see, so these sentences, they are short ones. So think of them as having just one sound. It's a big sound, just one sound, that incorporates the whole sentence. Like, I'll be there. You see, you memorize the sound, not really worrying about pronouncing word by word, like I will be there. Just, I'll be there. Also, abbreviations are key in speaking more connected. Practice speaking I'm instead of I am, I've instead of I have, and so on. So there is a tendency among Brazilian students to not pronounce, not speak the contracted version of the sentences when they are written. So for example, here, a typical Brazilian student might say, instead of I'll be there, the person might say, I will be there. But this is not the way the sentence is written, okay? You don't have will here, you have the contraction. So you have to respect the contraction and speak it, read it, contracted. So here you say, I'll be there. Just like here, I don't have, I have the contraction, I've. So you have to read and speak the contraction. This is I've done, not I have done. So if the sentence is written in the contracted version, with abbreviations, make sure you respect that and you pronounce the contracted version, unless the sentence is written in full form, and then that's okay. All right? Now, this is one example of a longer sentence. Look here, yeah? She's already arrived home and made dinner. Note, she's already arrived home. The first bit here, yeah? Here we have 5 words written. But when spoken, it's like we have only 2 words to speak, like 2 sounds, okay? So here I have she has already arrived home. So I have 5 words. But instead of thinking as 5 words for you to speak, think of only 2 sounds here. The first sound would be she's already. She's already. She's already. That's the first sound. The second sound would be arrived home. Arrived home. So putting it together, you say she's already arrived home. Repeat after me. She's already arrived home. She's already arrived home. She's already arrived home. You see, it's like 2 blocks, 2 groups of sounds that we have here. Okay? Now the last part of the sentence, and made dinner. Okay? Here we have 3 words written, but when spoken, it's like we have only 1 word or 1 sound to speak. So don't think about it as three distinct words like and made dinner. Think about these three words as one big word, one big sound that you're going to produce. In this case, and made dinner. And made dinner. Repeat after me. And made dinner. And made dinner. Okay? So when we put it all together, this big sentence, we pronounce it like this. She's already arrived home and made dinner. You see? It's a long sentence, but in reality, you can think of it as just three big sounds that you produce. She's already arrived home and made dinner. She's already arrived home and made dinner. She's already arrived home and made dinner. So naturally, I would say, she's already arrived home and made dinner. You see? So that's the idea of speaking more connected. Now, why speak like this? Why speak more linked, more connected? Here we have some reasons. First of all, when you speak like this, your English sounds more natural, more fluid, and more native-like, more similar to that of a native speaker. Even though our goal here is not to sound exactly like a native speaker, still, when you speak your sentences in a more linked way, you're gonna end up speaking a little bit more similar to the way that a native speaker does. And that's great. Now, your speaking also becomes clearer to people. You become more intelligible. When you link your sounds like this, since your English sounds more fluid, it's much, much easier for anybody to understand what you're saying. And finally, it helps you improve your listening. Native speakers connect the words a lot when they speak. By doing the same, you will acquire a more native-like type of speaking, which will make your ear more used to the sounds of spoken English. So I have many students who complain that, they say that it's very difficult to understand native speakers talking. And they say that because they think it's because native speakers speak too fast. There is some truth to that. Sometimes they do speak fast, but that's not really the reason. The thing is, they speak connected. They link the words, the sounds of the words. They put it all together when they speak. So it's not really fast. It's just more connected. So if you start speaking more like this, more in this connected way, your ear will start to pick up the same connections, the same groupings that native speakers make when they speak. Okay? So it's going to improve your listening considerably if you start speaking like that as well. Because you can be sure that if you listen to a sentence in English, and you don't understand it, and then you read it later, maybe in a subtitle, and you understand it, you know every word that is written there, but when you had to listen to it, you didn't get it. Probably it's because you are pronouncing that sentence in a very different way from the native speaker that you heard from, So the idea is bring your pronunciation, bring your speaking as close as possible to the way the native speaker speaks. And by doing this, your ear will recognize the sound because, it's a similar sound or even the same sound sometimes, okay? For example, imagine you have this sentence, I go there at 8 o'clock, okay? I go there at 8 o'clock. So usually, a native speaker would link the sounds there, and he or she would say, I go there at 8 o'clock. I go there at 8 o'clock. Now, imagine you don't pronounce this sentence like this. Usually you speak this sentence like, I go there at 8 o'clock. I go there at 8 o'clock. You see, it's not really wrong to speak like this, but the problem is, if you have a habit of speaking that sentence like this, I go there at 8 o'clock, that's not really the way the native speaker usually pronounces and speaks this sentence. So if you have the habit of speaking like this, when you listen, I go there at 8 o'clock, you're going to have more difficulties to understand because, the way you are speaking the sentence is not the way you are listening to it, So you have to bring your speaking, closer to the way you listen. So if you have a habit, for instance, in this example, to say, I go there at 8 o'clock, I go there at 8 o'clock, guess what? When you listen maybe in a movie, a native speaker saying, I go there at 8 o'clock, it's going to be much easier for you to understand, okay? So guys, that's about it for this video. Today was only an introduction to this accent reduction workshop that we are starting today. If you like the video, please make sure you click the like button. That would be great. Also share this video with your friends and family. If you know anybody who is trying to improve their English accent and their English pronunciation, share this video with this person, and subscribe to the English Den channel so that you can receive more updates on new lessons and new videos, okay? So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next lesson, which is going to be lesson 1 of this workshop. I'm Thiago. Thank you for watching and happy learning.